Hey guys, it's Shelby here, and we are with the 2022 YZ250 two-stroke, and we're gonna do 5 things I love about this bike, and a lot of them are the main reasons I ended up purchasing it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. If you haven't seen the 5 things I hate about my YZ250, feel free to check out that video that was posted. Otherwise, let's go ahead and start with number 1. My favorite thing about this bike, and probably the reason I keep coming back to the Yamaha chassis after having some other brands of bikes, is the ease of working on them. They are just fundamentally simple. They've been around forever and really haven't changed all that much. So that's one of the things I love about the bike. I know what to expect. I know kind of how it should be working and functioning, and which pieces and parts need attention at what points in time, just because I've had so many of them over the years. So that might be just a personal opinion on my side, because I've had so many of the YZ chassis. It's just comfortable to me and it's familiar. So that's my number 1 favorite thing: ease of working on them, ease of knowing what goes where and what I need to do to keep it running nice and smooth. Number 2, and probably one of the biggest things in the industry as to why people do go back to these over some of the more progressed, technologically advanced bikes that are on the market, is the suspension, the KYB SSS speed sensitive suspension. The stuff is amazing. Out of the box, you don't need to do a ton to it, and if you do get it revalved, it's even that much more exceptional. So personally, out of the box, I think this blows the doors off of the air forks and some of the other competition on the market. So that's a huge reason I love this bike. That's number 2, is going to be the suspension. The KYB SSS suspension is bar none. Number 3 is the ergonomics. The way the bike feels to me is, again, it's comfortable, it's familiar. I've had 2-strokes and ridden some of the Huskies and KTMs, and I haven't ridden the Gas. I'd like to try one of those out. But from my understanding and my experience personally, the KTM and the Husky steer tube angle, or somehow the geometry of the frame and chassis, makes me feel like I'm sitting over the front axle, which creates a much more knife edge feel for the bike. It doesn't mean that it's not precise. It's very precise, it's predictable, and it's rideable just fine. But something about the way that this bike's set up with the steer angle or the chassis setup over the axles makes it more fun for me. I can jump into a rut a little bit more comfortably, and when I'm jumping on jumps, it's easier for me to kind of turn the bars or scrub or try to whip off of stuff, and I have a lot more fun on the bike. And getting the front end up, manualing it, and playing and being playful with the bike, and whoops and little ruts and stuff like that is just easier for me on this chassis. I don't know why. Maybe you guys know more about the science behind it, but that's my perspective and my opinion, and why I love the ergonomics of the bike. Going to be number 4 is going to be the dependability and reliability of this engine. Obviously, this engine's been around since about 2006, and even most parts of it from 2002. So very familiar engine. It's been tried and true, and it's really difficult to have issues with this engine. And if you do, it's really pretty easy to get things replaced and or new parts for it pretty quickly. So that's a great reason. The bike is a 252 stroke. I don't need enhanced horsepower or things like that, because I weigh about $155 on the bike, and a 252 stroke has more than enough power for me. My whole objective when getting a 252 stroke is not to have the most amount of power on the track. If I want to do that, I'd get a 450. I want a perfect balance for me for being able to jump in and out of corners, not get completely exhausted on the bike, and be able to ride through some exhaustion when I do get tired without killing myself. So that's number 4. That's going to be just the way the bike is able to be dependable and reliable, and it just rides the way I want it to with enough power for me. Number 5, and the last part, is going to be just the fit and finish of the bike. I love the Yamaha look, especially with the new flatter seat profile, the thinner bodywork, and their new gas tank design. I think all of this coming together creates a really good package that is a little bit fresher than it's been over the last 15 years or so, and gives it a new flavor. Even though it's not massively different, it's different enough for me to get excited about it and stand out at the track with the newer YZ250 stroke that people come up and say that bike's sick, they sound good, they sound crisp. Those are the 5 things I love about my 2022 YZ250. If you haven't seen, check out my first impressions video at the track. Check out the 5 things I hate about the YZ250. Check out the first kind of look at the bike, what's changed on it over the years and what's current on it. And stay tuned for more videos of me riding this thing, getting more in shape myself, and having more fun on the bike. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the support. See you guys.